Hey, Mark. So I'm trying to make these. Trying to make more YouTube videos and sharing things and teaching things on YouTube. Something that you've been doing for like thousands of years, I'm sure. But I'm just kind of starting. I'm doing this soul creator community workshop that's over a year. And somebody responded to one of my videos yesterday and said, "You should, when you're making videos, you should be talking to somebody." And so I thought, oh man, what a great thing I can do right now. I want to talk about my ascension and I want to talk about that to you. And so I'm making this video for you, Mark, but everybody else can see it. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about what you just shared and everything. But first off, I really appreciate you taking the time to give that that long talk on the Ascension School that we're going to be building. And and it's exciting. I've kind of known that we're going to be doing this. I've known that we were going to be creating an Ascension School for like a long time now, but I didn't know how that was going to show up. I kind of expected it to be a little bit more magical and mystical, but it's really very straightforward. And yeah, man, like I know that when you gave that talk, you were kind of at the end, like excited, like, you get it? And I was like, yep, and I gotta go. But I just want you to know that I am very excited, and I do know, and I do see it, and I'm 100% getting it, and probably more than you know. I just wasn't responding with that enthusiasm in that moment. But just so you know, it's very real. And I absolutely see that this is what you're talking about is real. There's so much about what you were sharing that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm experiencing this thing already. When I first started, when I first got my first glimpse that this spirit path and heaven on earth, or, ascension, what was a real thing, it was about 2010, and I became obsessed with ascension. Like, I wanted to ascend, and I was so not ready for it, but I wanted it. And one of the reasons I wanted it was because I was so not happy with my life at the time. I was like, I was just didn't have a lot of money, and I was, didn't really have anything I was doing that was exciting. And I just was like, can I just like leave this place and I'm going to send, which you can't really, I think now I know, like, that's not really like a good launching point for ascension, is like, I hate my life. But that was where I was at the time. And there was one night I remember, because I was like really realizing that I can manifest. And so I was like, trying to manifest ascension, and I was like praying for it, and I was like asking for it, and I was like really, really like calling it in with everything I had. And I went to this ayahuasca ceremony, and it was like spirit like was like, okay, like let's give him what he asked for. And on this night, which I was so not ready for ascension, but I wanted it because I wanted to be out, like, there was a ceremony going on. I went pretty deep. Next to me, this person that was sitting next to me had like so much dark energy like come out of them, and they were like screaming at one point for like hours, like the most excruciating like screaming that I've ever witnessed in real life. And this person was sitting like 3 feet away from me, and it was like they were being tortured or something. It was so intense. And I was just sitting there, and I was meditating through it, and I just felt like, well, this is going to be the night, is holding space for this person. But then eventually he calmed down, and they took him out of the room. And when they did, the shaman started drumming all across the room. And as they was drumming, I could see these little like these little energies, like little dark energies or something, that were like all over the room, like kind of be gathered by the drum. And he was like drumming. And then as soon as he stopped, all those energies came rushing towards me and hit me like right in the chest. And when they were like in my face, or something was in my face, but that dark energy was like creative force, or like forces for creation. And something was asking me, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Do you want to ascend? Do you want to do it right now? Do you realize this is going to be totally different? You're going to be a completely different reality. Are you ready? Are you ready? It was like, they were like, you better be sure you say, we really mean yes before you say yes. And I was terrified by that question when it was like brought to my face, because I was really feeling like this was going to be a major shift and I was not ready for it. And I freaked out and I like backed off and I was like, no, 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 no. I do not want to ascend, and I want grace and I want ease. And I said for the rest of that night, grace and ease, grace and ease, grace and ease, grace and ease. I want grace and ease. And I didn't stop saying that for the rest of the night. I didn't stop. I felt like if I stopped, like I was going to like see this, experience this probability or possibility of doing something in the spiritual realms that I was not ready for. And that was terrifying. And so, but, you know, like I learned from that a lot of times these dark energy is what it like fuels us. If you're a person who's doing energy cultivation and working on your spirit, sometimes those dark energies are people who carry like heavy, dense energy. Actually, like that feeds you. And I think that's kind of some of the ways, like when we're motivated to be virtuous and to help others, and that when we're actually helping others, we're actually hanging in the same vibration with these dark energies or these dense energies, and those are actually fueling us. So like if you are somebody who is like further along and wanting to go higher, the best thing you can do is to really sink in with somebody who is really not doing good and help them and be in their energy and be in their presence, and that will actually help you. And I see proof of this everywhere, from the place that I was working at in Malibu with the the dark energies that were surrounding it, and even here like in Portland, where all the places are that like these really like kind of spiritual sanctuaries are surrounded by some of the worst neighborhoods. And so it's just like I really think that's true. But yeah, when it comes to ascension, I wasn't ready for it. And it's really weird because, I've told you a lot about my ego death or dark night of the soul that I went into and how terrifying and horrible that was. But, with everything that you were talking about, the Yang Shen and the soul and the soul's evolution, the soul's ascension, it's so strange because you were talking about the baby that our souls give birth to. I realized that right before I had my dark night of the soul, I was asking for ascension, and I started writing a book. It was like a children's book, and it was called Isby, and it was the story about a fetus developing inside of the mother's womb, and the flower of life was talking to it and getting it ready and preparing it for birth. And it really was about the story of ascension. It was a story about my own relationship with God, or the flower of life, and my birth into the new realms. But what was so intense is that when I was writing the story, when it got to the time where Isby was supposed to be born, in the story, instead of Isby had the choice to go up or down, and Isby chose down. And as I was writing the story of Isby and Isby was choosing down, I felt like I was like crashing and falling back to earth. And it was kind of like what you were saying, like how when you give birth to this baby or whatever, or when you're developing this ascension baby, I guess essentially the ascension baby, that it can go up or down, or if it goes down, it like disperses or something. I think you said something like that. And that's what happened in the story. And when that happened, I went into my ego death, which was, I think in some ways it achieved some of the things that you were talking about that happens through this process, but that you say is much easier. And I really hope that's true, because I really want to see a lot of more people having that ascension experience here on the planet. And I do not want people to have to go through what I went through, because it was the most horrifying, most horrible, most terrible, traumatizing, scary experience that I would not wish on my worst enemy. And if every human had to go through that in order to, it would just be like, no, dude. Like, I don't want people to have to go through that. And if this class that you're talking about, when I believe it is truly an ascension school, and it's working, and I believe it's working because I see it working with you. Like, I don't know how you were able to speak exactly that what was in my, mind, which was connected to the collective mind. The other day when we talked after not talking for like 6 months or something, like you literally just spoke what was in my mind. It just shows me that it's real. What you're doing is real. And and so yeah, man, I'm fully on board. I'm fully excited. I'm gonna start doing it as soon as possible. I kind of feel like I have been on this journey and kind of like being tested a little bit by the universe in the last month or two, just like making sure that I'm ready, with the stories that I've told you and everything. But yeah, but I've been passing, and I've known I've been passing, and I didn't know what you were going to be talking about when we met over Zoom today. But now that you've told me, I'm like, yeah, that's it. But it's really interesting because you've been going through this ascension process over the last 6 months or a year, I think. And it's funny because over the summer I was doing a lot of my artwork, and I don't know if I've shown you my artwork. I know you've seen my artwork before. I kind of do these interesting kind of like drawings. I like it when people call me. I do this kind of artwork where I kind of paint, and I don't really know what I'm painting, and a lot of times like an image will appear. And these are just examples, but over this last summer I was painting, and babies kept showing up, and I didn't know what it was about. Like, I was like, am I about to have a baby or something? Or am I about to have like a child or something? Am I going to get somebody pregnant or something? I didn't want that. And I was kind of telling the universe, I don't want that. But look at what my paintings were doing. See this? I was painting these paintings, and do you see? These babies kept showing up. Like little tiny babies inside this kind of like universal mind. That's just one of them. Here's another one. And then there was another one that was even more clear. It was probably the clearest baby of all. And I don't have that with me. But it kept on showing up, and it wasn't because I was trying to paint babies. It was just this art style, like things just appear, and it's like something is painting through me. And so, yeah, these little babies, these little things that look like babies inside of something kept showing up. And I don't know if that's something that was already developing in me, because I have been doing this really intense spiritual work this last year, like really, really diving deep into it. It could be, but I am going to jump on to take this class with Yoshifu. And I'm going to take it really seriously, man. I'll even go to the Bahamas and just work out this stuff with you. I mean, I think, man, I don't know anybody else really besides you that I can say is really doing it. I know I'm doing it, and I don't really have a lot of people to talk to about it. I've just kind of accepted that most people don't understand, and I'm doing this stuff, and I'm going to work it out, and eventually I'll be teaching it. But it's really cool because when I talk to you, I know you understand, and I know you don't really. I know you probably don't know a lot of people either that are doing it, because I would love to meet them if there were. So yeah, man, I'm fully excited to jump on board with this, to figure it out first for ourselves, figure out ascension for ourselves and what that even means. I'm not doing it now because I want to leave this life. I love my life. I'm in heaven right now. It's just getting better and better all the time. And yeah, I'm excited to do this with somebody. Like, God knows that I do a lot better work when I'm doing it with somebody else. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this work with me. Let's figure it out. Let's do this. Let's do this course. Let's learn everything we need to know, and let's start this Ascension School and start teaching it to everybody who's ready. And I know it's not for everybody. I know what I've had to do in order to prepare. It's not like you can just like have a lot of money and sign up for this. You have to have like done stuff. You have to have like worked your way up to this. And so the people who have, it's going to be really exciting to be able to introduce it to them. But yeah, man, right? Can you believe it? It's actually happening. I will see you in the Bahamas probably within a month, maybe a little bit more. I've got my business here. I got my shop here. I got my chocolate business. And honestly, I'm not that excited about it as much as I am about doing this soul work. Money doesn't really motivate me as much anymore now that I know that I really don't need it as much. Um, Other people can make it, and I think the real value, the real gold is like the spirit currency that we have and that we're developing, and a lot of people are learning is really the real stuff. I mean, dude. Why run after millions and riches when you just know that you can just have anything, and you always have what you need all the time, and it's just so much better and it's so much more fun and it's so freeing. It's such freedom, isn't it? So anyway, thank you for listening to my message that I've made just for you. If anybody else is watching this message that I'm writing or recording, I hope you enjoy it. I'm wanting to record more, but this message is for one of my best friends who's on the path of ascension with me, and maybe for a lot of people that's like, ascension, that's just a joke, or oh yeah, that's old news, that's so last year. No, this is like the real deal stuff. And man, if you are somebody who's like knows about it and is experiencing some of the maybe symptoms of being ready for it, yeah, reach out, say hi, let's jump on board with us, because this is real and we're going to do this together, and this is how we bring heaven to earth. One of the pieces, it's one of the biggest pieces, because the more of us who can kind of ascend to this level and kind of join hands together and start creating flowers of life all over the earth, that's how it's done. It's not done by building buildings or anything like that. It's simply humans. We can do this in the desert with a bunch of ascended souls. So this is going to be a great time. We can take our time. There's no rush. This is not about speeding up or trying to, race against time because we don't have enough time or something. It's like, no, dude, we have all the time in the world. We can take our time, and we will take our time. So thank you for watching.